Hello, Thomas. Great seeing you again. Different band, though, right now.
Yeah,
Last time,
bands bands change, but the face remains the same, it seems.
and the spirit remains the same,
Yes, yeah,
right?
yes, yes.
So, it's great to discuss about the new Wolfheart album. Before doing so, you have an amazing streak, almost one album per 2 years. And you have Before the Dawn, let alone the uh, Dawn of Solar. So, how do you manage to keep such a tight schedule?
Well, it's not about it does sound like it's something that I actually schedule and plan. It's more like the problematic thing that it's just the new music comes out a little bit too fast, and
Oh,
that leaves me in the situation where I'm constantly releasing albums. It's not like I sit down and make a plan for the next 2 years and which band is going to do what. But I still have the same. Well, yeah. Well, for example, I'm now at the moment working with the new Dawn of Solace album. I'm gonna go back to studio tomorrow, and we started working with the final recordings like 2 months ago or so. And once I got the first song written for the album, I was just so excited that I wanted to write the rest of the album and go to studio and make the album and get it released. In that process, there is no scheduling and planning. It's just me still getting like equally excited like I was 20 years ago, just to be able to write new music and enjoy the new music and be inside the whole recording process, building the songs layer by layer. And then at this point, when the album is almost ready, then I'm going to be, like always, in trouble with the schedule, because now the album is coming out, maybe even before end of this year. But I just releasing Wolfheart album, and we just released an EP for Before the Dawn. So it may look something very professional and well scheduled, but it's just chaos that I'm trying to manage somehow.
why did you have to spoil the image? I was painting you, and why did you do that, man? Come on, I'm helping
Yeah,
out.
well, I like to be an honest artist at the same
Yeah,
time. Like there's like it's funny how like I don't know, probably you were joking a bit, I don't know, but there's like a lot of people. I get this like these certain things coming back at me like I'm perfectionist in the studio and stuff like that. And I think nowadays people have a so different image about me than I'm actually am as a person, and it doesn't bother me at all. It's not like it's a problem to me, but it's just pure artistic chaos that I'm just trying to keep together somehow. But if it looks like professional behavior outside, then I'll take it. I'll take it, definitely.
you said a lot of things. So I'm not sure why we need to paint a picture of a person that we only know through music.
Yeah,
I don't know Thomas as a person. I know
yeah.
him as a musician. So as long as I like what you write, I will be frank and say I don't care if you are professional or if you are doing that through chaos. Done.
Okay, that's good. That's
Right.
good.
So it's up to you. Where I was trying to go though is, and I think I understood that you keep writing music, and at some point you end up and say, okay, that sounds like a Wolfheart song or a Before the Dawn or a Dawn of Solace. You don't sit down and say, okay, I will block my mind and now I will think like Wolfheart, right?
No, yeah, that's correct. I do have like the basic mindset that I want to work one album at the time anyway. Like when I was working with Wolfheart, I didn't want to stop and think about or try to come up with the ideas for Before the Dawn of Solace. But no, it would be very hard for me to just sit down and decide what comes out next, because it might be a part of a riff or part of a melody that starts the whole creative cycle for the next album, whatever the band might be. But it is very spontaneous.
So this is the first album with Reigning Phoenix music. So for a band that has been around for more than a decade, does it matter if you have a new record deal?
It does, especially in this case, because this is very unique situation that we are in. Of course, we did 6 years with Napalm and no complaints at all. Like we didn't have any specific reason to upgrade the label or like find a new one. Our contract was ending, like it ended on the King of the North. So anyway, we were completely free to look all the other options. One of them was we got another new offer from Napalm also that we were considering until the last moments. But last time when there was a new label coming to life in music industry, in metal, specifically, was Atomic Fire. And that was years and years ago. And this is a lot bigger events. Raining Phoenix comes a lot with a bigger momentum. There's same people involved that was in Atomic Fire. They started with like getting the main bands from Atomic Fire. They got like Meshuggah, Opeth, Amorphis. Then they signed Kerry King. They signed Dayside. They signed Halloween. This kind of like thing hasn't been seen in metal music industry for a long time. Like, right. So it's also like and clearly, like I just made this example for another reporter. If Kerry King approves,
right,
he could choose any label. Like when he comes out with his solo band with his own name as the band, he could choose any label in this universe. If he chose Raining Phoenix, a lot of things have to work really well. And being part of this momentum, I've seen it already, like amount of interviews and the how much things are actually happening, how much people are actually pushing things forward. It's I think it does matter a lot, because it's the other way around. Like we've been around for now 11 years, and it's every year with every album, it's the industry is in a worse shape. The touring industry is in a worse shape. Like everything is declining. It feels more like we are swimming against like the tide, like the upstream. So I think now more than ever, this kind of like new label, new power, new like excitement in the band also, it's very much needed.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that, because I was under the impression that, nowadays, as you said, record labels cannot do that much. I doubt if they can.
Yeah, well, it is like it's more narrow, I think. Bands have a lot bigger responsibility with the social media and stuff like that. But for the basic promo, for printing the albums, having the worldwide distribution, those are things super expensive or difficult for any. Like you can release an album on your own nowadays. You can record the album on your laptop. You can release it on your laptop. But certain things you can't replace when it comes to like music industry. So and everybody needs top professionals in their trade.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. So is this the new album? Is this a concept one? No, right?
It is in a very different way than the previous ones, but it is a lot wider, the concept this time.
In what way? I need more.
you can get more. No problem at all. I'm going to compare it to the all two previous concept albums, because Wolves of Karelia was very narrow. It was the Finnish Winter War against Russia, 3 months in the Finnish history. That's the whole period of time that the whole album covered. Then King of the North was about the Finnish mythology and our ancestors being in a perfect balance with the nature, worshipping the gods of weather for the harvest, and fearing and worshipping bears as demigods, and like killing what needed and growing the rest to survive. And we knew our place in the hierarchy of the nature. So that was a little bit wider already, but it came from the Finnish like ancient times with the mythology. This album is a flip side of the coin. It's basically the same. There's connection with the album cover and everything, but it expands differently. Like in previous album, the cover was like this skull totem, about the king of the north, which was the bear that was worshipped as the demigod at that time, and it was all about like to the honor of the nature and that kind of stuff. Well, this new album is about the modern man, and now we are talking about centuries before and decades to come, not about this day or tomorrow or yesterday. No political agenda or message in here. It's just the behavior of humankind in general, and we kill and burn. That's what we do.
Yeah.
There's no balance with nature. There's no respect towards nature. We take what we want, not what we need, and that's the pattern that like brought up the title. That's the Draconian Darkness. It's not a poetic thing. It's the very severe darkness that comes like a shadow behind our footstep. That's what follows the mankind at the moment. Mm-hmm. And it is wide, and every song like comes toward the topic in a different way. Some of them are like historical, about the wars or human behavior, and some of them are about the kind of like science fiction, what the future might look like when things go on like this. But it is a theme album. And that's the cover also. In the previous album, it was the totem of a bear skull. And this is the human skull with the antlers and snake skeleton. That's the funeral wreath of mankind. It is a dark album when it comes to the topic.
Oh, it sounds dark and it sounds super aggressive. But before talking about that, I want to ask, what input did you give to Nikos from Vision Black? Because it sounds like you have a vision of your own. So how much direction did you give him, and how much freedom did you give him?
I always give him some songs to listen, so he knows how the album sounds. So what's the direction of me? But in the very beginning, I try to keep as less as possible. Like maybe it's just a few pointers, because I want his first idea to be his, not that he's recreating mine. And then we work from that idea. Sometimes it's almost the one that I had in my mind. Sometimes we are miles apart, but I want the initial idea coming from him. And then we work on that, because, it wouldn't make any sense. I'm not talented when it comes to like drawing or graphics and that like stuff. So I shouldn't do his job. Like I shouldn't tell him to do his job. That's the better way. And it wouldn't give anything. He wouldn't be able to contribute with his talents if I would just give him orders, put skull there and put bones there and put this here. So always I try to like guide in the beginning as less as possible. So it's his idea that we work from there.
Right, and you released the 2 singles, and it gave me the idea of the 2 singles. If you combine the artwork of those 2 singles, makes the album's artwork. But I may be wrong.
I never did that. I didn't check that out actually, how that would look
Seems like it, but if it is, that's super clever.
it actually might be. I need to check that out myself. I hope it does. No, actually, that would be.
Now that I put that idea, it will. So it's been a while that you use Finnish lyrics in the lyrics, right?
Yeah.
Last time it was in, I cannot pronounce that, Tuhis.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Thank you. So how do you decide let's use Finnish? Because they have a different pronunciation, different sound, although they sound very, very good with the music.
No, it's more like I'm just trying to think all the times I use that in like it's some like I've used it usually in very melancholic songs. So it's like a song called Ferry or Breathe, the ending song of Winterborn. So Finnish language is very versatile when it comes to certain topics like melancholy and sadness. There's a lot of very poetic words, and it's nice to write like this poetic Finnish it kind of gives a deeper meaning to me as a writer, but at the same time, it works so well for aggressive parts because Finnish language we have very strong consonants. We have a lot of those double consonants that seems to be impossible for any foreigner to.
Yeah.
What differs is that's a good thing because that's how much it differs from any other language. It lacks the certain flow and certain roundness. So for the growling vocals, it's pretty much ideal. It's super easy language to arrange. Of course, it's fun to shout because I noticed, probably because it's my mother language, that I focus less on the singing and I put more effort on the sound. So growling in Finnish language is kind of like comes a lot easier and a lot more raw. Maybe because I can put more pressure on the consonants. Like I don't. Yeah. It is more like a raw sounding language to begin with. So it's super fun language to growl, but there are a lot of topics where it's not enough words. So I rather keep in English, but it is super fun language to drop here and there. I think because I've always only got positive feedback from fans that it doesn't sound weird or like so probably we're gonna use that more in the future.
You know what? The voice, the singing is also a music instrument, to my mind.
Yeah.
So some languages work very, very good in specific types of metal. So I'm 100% on your side. Although I'm curious now, if you have clean vocals, how would you teach Vangelis to sing in Finnish?
I don't think that would be a good idea. And I don't mean that Vangelis wouldn't do a good job or wouldn't do his very best. But like if you want to Finnish language, even if you are like lived here for 20 years and you are perfected your Finnish language, it can be heard. The accent can always be heard. So that's why we have Lauri also.
I'm Greek, so my English is not good sounding. So I'm totally getting what you're talking about.
And things I've been thinking like we didn't do it on this album, or I didn't suggest, but it would actually be really good combination if Vangelis in the future recordings, Vangelis would do some aggressive stuff in Greek language.
Mm-hmm.
It is like I've heard him to get angry only once in my life, but he can be very convinced. Now I think when it comes authentically, that is your own language, it comes a little bit from the different place. If you want to make something sound angry or aggressive, so I think, and it would make sense because I'm using my own language in parts. Why would I make him to use any other than his if I would want to have? Because yeah, we are winter metal, but he's our member. We are partly Greek, no matter what. So that would be a nice thing to try out. I don't know what he's going to think about it. I never asked him, so he will now see this or hear this interview, and he will probably tell me what he thinks about it.
You can propose this deal. You will sing in Greek, and he will sing in Finnish, right?
Oh, we will lose so many fans. I'm already sad about all the fans that we're gonna lose.
No, yeah, I give you that. So, was Grave the first song you wrote for the album? This is what the music video, the notes, this said that.
Yeah, it was. There's a funny story about the whole like when I started writing the actual album. It's a good friend of our drummer. He sings in a hardcore band, but he's like 48, 49. He plays golf during the weekends. He doesn't look like a metal guy. He doesn't act like a metal guy, but he's been quite many of our shows when we play in Helsinki area. And he always gives the best feedback, like the way he just describes stuff. And he was watching our latest show in Helsinki like 1 year ago when we started the Finnish tour. And he was by the wall maybe drank one beer, no, not where near the front row, no, definitely no mosh pit or something, anything like that. He was there on the side. I didn't even see him. That after the show, he came to my drummer and told him like he was super excited about the show, and we played a lot of like the aggressive songs like Breakwater, Hammer, all that stuff. And he was so excited about the sound and the energy and the songs. He was like just telling Jonas that from the beginning of the show, I just felt that I need to ride into a battle right now.
There you
like
go.
1 hour straight into the battle. And then I started thinking like yeah, maybe the next album should be like that now we go to war. And the first riff that I wrote was the first riff of Grave, because I wanted to make this. It's kind of like it turned into like a challenge in my head, like, this guy wants to ride into battle. Hold
And
my
he's
beer.
playing golf, right?
Yeah. So I wanted to like let's see what I can come up with if we want to make this kind of like a war sounding music. And that was the first riff that came out.
And now I understand the concept of the music video for that, with you with blood on your face and an axe. That was an amazing footage that you had there. How difficult was to take that footage there?
Which one?
For the grave video.
You mean the playing video or the
grave, where you are close by the sea, right?
Yeah. That was like, well, that was the easiest of all of them to shoot. We spent 5 days in Iceland, and we shoot footage for 3 music videos when we were there, and that was by far the easiest, like with the weather and everything. So that was very, very easy and pleasant. There was a lot of driving, a lot of walking and carrying stuff, but it was super easy compared to the other days, because the weather can get really rough in Iceland. Like the first day we were planning to shoot like outdoors, there was a official weather warning about the stone storm. Yeah, the wind is so high that the lava stones that are a little bit lighter than regular stones, they start flying.
Oh man.
So we were warned, don't go this area at all. It's gonna break your car and the windows and everything. It's gonna be like it's gonna be dangerous. So it can be very complicated. That's why we spend so many days in Iceland, just to have some option days that if we can shoot outside, we have another day. But that was the easiest. That was nice.
Okay, so you're saying that you did film a couple more, maybe, videos, and those were also outside, not for Everfall. Everfall was inside the studio.
Yeah. We're gonna release total amount of 6 videos from this album. Okay. There's 2 more coming for the album release, and 2 we're gonna release during the winter.
Nice. So for Everfall, was this filmed inside the studio that you recorded? Because in my mind, I had the picture of the band recording the album like that. No. I know you didn't do that like that, but I'm romantic.
Well, do you want me to answer, or do you want to keep that?
No, go ahead, answer. That's okay.
No, we used that only for the shooting of the video, because it doesn't make any sense to record album like that. It wouldn't even be fun, because it would like multiply the pre-production and the rehearsal time. But it's super nice studio. Probably we're gonna use it in the future recordings. It was the first time I got to see the studio. I didn't even know that I actually exist like just 1 hour away from our rehearsal room.
Okay. And since you mentioned production, you did the production, right? And did Saku do the mixing?
This is the first album that Saku was the main producer.
Oh.
So he produced the album, recorded, mixed, and mastered the album. I wanted to keep everything in his hands. Then again, I had no reason to interfere, because I still carried the whole responsibility of composing the music and the music arrangement, vocal arrangements, but everything from there was his territory. And then again, we done more than 10 albums together. So he knows what I'm bringing on the table. I know what he is bringing. So we have such a high mutual trust and respect that it didn't feel that I'm giving out any control or anything. It was actually a lot more pleasant and easier for me, because I do enjoy more just to focus on my own playing, the songs itself, my vocals, and then there's somebody else saying that this could be done better or try this out. I don't need to analyze. I just focus on my performance, because that's like quite a big task already.
So it helps you also working more on the songwriting side of things in a way, right?
Well, thing is, like, I've been, since I started working with him, this is the third Dawn of Solace album. He was recording some of the Before the Dawn stuff. This is the third Wolfheart album we are recording together. I always ask him, like, when I do most of the melodies in the studio, I have the riffs ready, but I just come up a lot of the melodies while we are recording. And he's the first and the last person, basically the only person. But I always try out my ideas, or like bounce around with him. I think it's very important, for every songwriter to have somebody who is outside the box and doesn't care if my feelings get hurt, or like there's no like these stupid barriers that he needs to say certain things because he works for me, or like out of excess respect or something like that. He can just, if he doesn't like it, he says that aloud. If I think he's wrong, I don't change anything. But to have this another person where you can just bounce out ideas, and you know that whatever he says, he's going to be honest. If he likes it, he really likes it. If he doesn't, he will probably say that in a very blunt and straight way. But that's also like really nice atmosphere to work with, and you don't need to filter either way.
You know that this is so mature thing to do, right? Because it's so, I can only put myself in your shoes and say, accept criticism in such level. It's so difficult to achieve that, confidence in you and to the other person you are working with, that, hey, he will tell me the truth straight to my face and I will accept that.
Yeah. Oh, now I don't always accept that, but I always accept his honesty. It doesn't mean, because we are two very different people. He's also a great composer. He has his own band, Red Moon Architect. He's a great drummer, great pianist, great guitar player. So I know that whatever he says comes from some professional point of view.
Yeah.
We don't agree on many things in music,
and that's good. That's good.
Which I think is really good, because that's because if like 1 out of 10 times, if his very straightforward and blunt feedback makes me change something and it becomes better, you multiply that with all the ideas on the full album, and that's a huge contribution. And plus, he did all the orchestrations, so he has a huge role for my songs anyway. Where I stopped with the writing, he continued with the orchestration. I didn't want to mess around with that is his profession, and I think that is the best result, at least from my point of view, that I have a song and I know that this is where my vision ends, and I have somebody who can just elevate the whole thing to a next level. I never understood this you need to hold on to this ego thing. This is my song. I want to say that I wrote everything on this song. Like somebody's going to give you a medal because of that. If the music is good, the music is good. If somebody can make it better, it will become better. Nobody
I don't think that level of maturity exists in many bands, but let's not get.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
But one thing also I need to mention, that I've been really good friends with Saku for 15 years. So it's not just professional relations that we have. So that's why I guess the respect is so deep also, because it's not just music thing that we share. So it comes from respecting each other as human beings and friends. And then there's the music stuff. So we have a different background than just co-workers.
You know what? If you look at the history of bands, whenever a band passes maybe 5 years or even 10 years, then it's at that point, it becomes a family. So with family members, you know the other person, you will fight, you will argue, but at the end of the day, you will produce the album or whatever else is a product of this collaboration. And when you see a band that keeps the lineup the same, it's for that reason, because people are coming together and know each other.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you said that the orchestrations always come after you have the basic structure of the song, or even the entire song altogether.
Yeah. On this album, because I really wanted to have very cinematic approach on the orchestration. I told Saku that everything has to sound like a movie trailer. Like every time when there's a orchestration, the role has to be big enough that it sounds like a movie trailer, but it also has to carry the mood of the song. It cannot just be something fancy and layers on top of layers. But now we did the pre-production in a way that we started working with the orchestrals already. So I had the songs ready, but not the final arrangements for the guitar. Like in some places we needed more space for the orchestration. We made space from the guitars. In some places I wanted to keep the guitars as the dominant one. Then we did the other way around. So, but because of our low tuning and the baritone guitars I use, that is challenging for the orchestration. My guitars alone take so much of the frequencies already in the mix, and it doesn't sound big if it's too much information. So we did like the arrangement in a way that it serves the best for the whole song, and not just that I give him one clump of music and it's like there's a lot of Finnish sayings that translate really poorly, but if I wouldn't take into consideration of the keys and the orchestration, I would just give him a pile of shit and he can decorate that as a cake. That's how we would say in Finland.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So of course, that was quite extensive work just to be able to fit the guitars and the orchestration both, so that they serve the song and the album.
So since you said cinematic atmosphere, should I suspect, or am I right when I say that the music videos, that the other two that you have, and the other four you said you have not released, have some plot, some history, even some acting on these?
No, I don't. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure yet because I had plans, but we had a lot of issues with the first video.
Okay.
And that changed the plans because it appears that the YouTube is now regulated by artificial intelligence, and that's a lot more problematic. On the first video, there was a little bit of blood, there was a little bit of weapon, like there was the axe, and the third red flag we got was negativity. It was somehow negative. So it took 1 week for the label to clear all of those and be able to put any advertisement. And that's kind of like a big deal if the impact of the video is diminished because there's some issues. So I had a different storylines for the future videos, but now we are doing a different plan because, I would like to have artistic freedom and do whatever I want. But when it shoots down the marketing plan, it's not a good idea anymore. So
they have AI doing this stuff.
So now it goes automatically. So there's nobody you can call or email or explain it. If the AI thinks this is bad, then it's like a long process to go through each issue with the video. So that's kind of that sucks. We even had this one idea that one of the videos I'm going to do a separate version for Facebook and separate for YouTube. So the Facebook one can be with the storyline that will have some weapons and stuff like that, and the other one goes to YouTube and then is made in a way that there's no issue with the YouTube censorship, stuff like that. So that was I didn't know that, and that was a bummer. Like it was very stressful with the first video when I heard from the label that there's such huge amount of red flags from YouTube, and we've done blood and access and stuff like that before. I didn't think this would be like a problem now.
So yeah, let's have a video. Let's have a song talking about battles, and let's have the actors hold the flowers. And
yeah, but let's make them look happy so it doesn't seem negative.
oh yeah,
Like
go to more happy, right?
yeah, like that's that. But at least there's gonna be at least two of the videos are gonna if anybody thought that the scenery in Grave by the sea was cool, we're gonna blow them away with at least two videos. That's for sure. No acting, no weapons, no blood, no anything, but just one of the videos that's gonna come out at the same time the album comes out. That was the most breathtaking location I've ever been. Like standing, the most beautiful place I've been standing with my own feet. So
I'm trying to pick the song. Let me do that once. Is it the Gale?
but that is one of the video songs, but that's the first video that comes after the album release. But that's the second coolest location I've ever been in my life.
Okay. I will not press you. So touring, you have the tour now. You will do some Finnish dates, and then you have the tour with Dark Tranquillity, Moonspell, and Here I Is. When should we expect Wolfheart to cross the Atlantic?
That is still a question mark. We are hoping to close the tour for February.
Okay.
But there's some obstacles that are not in our hands. The other bands need to be confirmed first also, that we know that there is the package. The visa cost going 250% higher. That doesn't help.
No.
And also because the touring cost in Europe has also been rising like with every year now. It's just annoyingly complicated. But we are doing our best at the first tour we're gonna do in there is gonna be in February.
Perfect.
And I think the new album and the new label, everything, it needs that we are on the road and we do very like extensive touring for this album too. But yeah, again, every year brings new obstacles. So this year is no difference from to that kind of thing.
It is a little bit different. It's more difficult for the US.
It is, yeah.
Last question. The latest, you said that you mentioned Dawn of Solace, that you are actually working on new music, right?
Yeah.
Do you have in mind when, or at least when would you like to see the new album coming out?
It's a good chance it's going to be out in December this year.
Okay.
It's already confirmed with the label that it's possible. It's now just up to me to actually deliver the album for the label. But if not December, then January, February.
Okay. And before the Dawn?
We probably going to start recording new stuff next January. Now there's a little bit more balancing with the schedule. Juho plays also in Swallow the Sun. Mm-hmm. So both me and him are going to be touring. So we need to find proper spaces between the touring. But we already talked about January. Would be possible? Of course, need to talk with Napalm people. There's somebody to release the album, but that is in the planning board. This summer we're going to do festivals. Only we had our first own beer done by one like indie brewery in Finland. So a lot of
beer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So it's like fun things. It seems that only fun things happen around that band. But I don't.
You need a beer for Wolfheart now.
I thought about that. Well, Wolfheart, it needs to be a little bit more mature, like whiskey or gin.
Okay.
Before the Dawn is like it's just having fun at the moment. So having a beer, having a Before the Dawn, that's kind of like.
I can see that.
Wolfheart is a little bit more serious and darker and more like this focused and stuff like that. So like a nice whiskey or gin would, because we have very famous like distilleries for whiskey and gin in Finland. But
the problem with these things is that it's so difficult to get them outside of the country. And even here in the States, I have no idea, man.
It's impossible. It would be a fun idea, but we are busy enough with the touring and the music with Wolfheart, so we don't need this kind of thing.
Yeah. Tuomas, thank you very much for your time. I will let you go and finish the Dawn of Solace album.
Thank you. Thank you.
And see you in February. I can only hope that everything goes smooth as possible.
It doesn't even need to be smooth. It's never been smooth when it's about your neck of the woods. But as long as we get there, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be smooth, but it needs to happen.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, sir, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.